So guys, here I'm back again, and today's lesson is gonna be about interface segregation principle. But before that, let me just come back to the last lesson just to explain something that I missed and might be useful and important to you. So in this previous lesson, as we have here the abstract class vehicle, I told you that in the subclass we can throw an exception. So every time that you have to throw an exception due to a method that is not supported or that you do not implement, you shouldn't do that, and you should get rid of this here, and also you should get rid of this in the most generic class, and now it's perfectly right. But it's not about throwing an exception per se, because if you have an exception right here in the most generic class, that's perfectly fine. You just have to pay attention when you have to implement a new exception in the subclasses. So for the generic class is just fine. But okay, let's come to the so I don't know if you noticed, but there was some spoiler, but whatever, let's keep going. And in here, as you can see, it's very similar to the previous example. The difference is that I actually create an interface instead of an abstract class. I have the same things, the same two methods in here, the same implementation for car, and bicycle we have the same problem. We have to throw an exception for this method get few percentage because it's not supported. So what can we learn about it? We have an interface that has methods, and it could have plenty of methods, but some of the classes that implement this interface, they don't use them entirely, so you have to throw exceptions. So this principle says that when you have subclasses, you don't have to depend on using the methods that were declared in the interface. So what does it really mean? It means that you probably have a too generic interface that is bloated with plenty of methods, and you're gonna have problems with subclasses that implement this interface. So to fix that, we in the previous example we got rid of this method and also had to get rid of this method in here. But for this principle, we're gonna have a different approach, as I don't want to work with a bloated in generic interface. So I'm gonna tell you that what we're gonna do in here is gonna be very simple, and I'm going to actually just split this interface into more specific interfaces for that to really solve. So just give me a second and I'll come back to show you how to solve this problem. So here I'm back again with the solution, and as you can see, I told you before we had this bloated interface, and we split this into two different interfaces, one for non-motorized vehicle and the other one for motorized vehicle. As you can see, the methods have changed a bit. In here we have activate brakes, not emitting pollution, activate brakes, and get a few percentages. Actually, if I really pay attention, I'm duplicating this code in here, and I shouldn't repeat myself. So I'm actually come back with this interface, and let's extend from this interface. So now it's just fine, and I have to get rid of this so I don't have any duplication anymore. So as you can see, I came back to use this interface just not to repeat myself, but as you can see, it's a split into different interfaces, and now my car fully implements my interface motorized vehicle as it already was doing before, but now my bicycle that is implementing interface also implements all the methods that were declared. As you can see here, emitting pollution, this is a brand new method that I created right here into the interface for non-motorized vehicles. And that's where the principle is applied. Both of those classes, they implement the interface that they are referring to completely. There is no need to throw an exception or anything like that. And that's how you know that it's implemented, is when you split this very generic and bloated interface into more specific interfaces so that the classes will fully implement them. And as you can see here, I instantiated this car, have a new car object, and it activates brakes, activate brakes and get few percentage. And for the bike, I can activate brakes also, and also not emitting pollution method. So let's run this to see if it's working. And the car is braking, 42% of fuel, the bicycle is braking also, and this vehicle does not emit pollution. So now our application is working just fine and respecting the interface segregation principle. So that's it for today. I hope you liked it, and see you in the next lesson.